All right, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. Have you heard about Jamaican businessman or Jamaican-born businessman Rashid Edwards that was or said to have killed himself in the United States of America? Have you heard that story? Now, the story gets even more weird, twisted, complicated, and we're going to get into that. According to the Jamaica Gleaner, the relatives of the Jamaican-born businessman Rashid Edwards, whose body was found at his Wall Township home in New Jersey with a gunshot wound to the head, a single gunshot wound to the head on April 1st, are insisting that the death of Rashid has been improperly investigated by the authorities, who have ruled it a suicide. His family is saying there's no way that's a suicide. There are signs of foul play all over the place. While both a Wall Township pathologist and an independent pathologist hired by Edwards' relatives arrived at the same conclusion, the family is not convinced that he killed himself. Now check this out, this information right here. They are contending that both pathologists said no gunpowder residue was detected on either of his hands. Now, if he had killed himself, there would probably be gunpowder residue on the hand that he used to hold the gun in order to kill himself. They are both saying, two professionals, an independent pathologist and a pathologist of the Wall Township, both have come to the conclusion that there were no gunshot residues on either of his hands. And although Edwards was right-handed, get this part, the weapon said to have killed him was actually found in his left hand. I want to hear your thoughts on that. No gunshot residue on either hands, and the gun was found in his left hand, his less dominant hand, because he was right-handed. Now, if I'm going to kill myself, I want to make sure I aim that weapon properly. I want to make sure I hold it good. I want to make sure that I don't chicken out or shake so hard at the last minute I end up shooting my ear off or hitting myself in the part of the head where I would survive but be stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of whatever life I have left. No, I'm going to make sure that that weapon is pressed against where I'm going to put the bullet, and I'm going to squeeze with a steady hand. Now, there were also no powder burns at the entry point of the bullet wound to his head, and no gunpowder residue on either of his hands, according to pathologist reports, which the Sunday Gleaner has seen. His loved ones further claim that the video footage of the alleged suicide has been tampered with. Rashid did not kill himself. Something is fishy. He uses his right hand, his family member said, and the gun was found in his left hand. Come on now. But the gunshot wound was at the right side of his head. People, y'all see how this gets weird and weird? So backtrack and remember, this brother is right-handed, right? The gun used to kill him was found in his left hand. The bullet wound that killed him from this gun found in his left hand was at the right side of his head. Now, I want you to put your left hand in motion, you know, with the gunshot thing already. Dancehall, put up your gun in the ear, gun finger in the ear. I want you to do your hand right like that right now. Left hand. Now, I want you to place that gun from the left, fingers, to the right side of your head as if you're going to pull a trigger. Can you imagine how difficult that would be to execute that from that angle? And then no gunshot residue is found. And there were no powder burns. If you fire a weapon and you hit a person close up, there will be powder burns from the weapon being that close. There's none that was found on Rashid. That's crazy. He used his right hand and the gun was found in his left hand, but the gunshot wound was to the right side of his head. Also, them take people for fool. You know, sister, them murder the youth. Also, the bullet did not exit his head. And in most cases, if someone is shot at close range, depending on how powerful the caliber is, the projectile tends to exit due to the force. He was buried with the bullet still in him. His mother, Joel Edwards, said, "They are covering up something. My son was murdered. There were cameras all around that house. Check this out now. But strangely, none could show the incident where he got shot. And the police in the area seem to be uninterested in probing the real reason why my son died. He is black. He made money, lots of money, and he was with a white girl in a city that does not take interracial relations lightly," she added. Edwards' remains were flown home to Jamaica and were interred on July 1st. Joel Edwards contends that her son's death has not been properly investigated by police in the Jersey Shores community where he lived with his Caucasian girlfriend and her mother. If it is that he actually shot himself at close range, why are there no powder burns? Why no gunpowder residue on either of his hands? Why both pathologists reported that their examinations revealed this? So why isn't a thorough investigation being done into my son's murder? His mom said. She asked, "The police in Wall County are threatening us and treating us rather as if we're criminals, and they just completely shut us out. We have tried to reach out to them, begging them to look into the situation. With all these things, he is right-handed, the gun found in the left hand. The bullet wound to his head is on the right side of his head. How could he have used his left hand to shoot himself on the right side of his head?" This reminds me of a story where a young man was shot in the side of his head in the back of a police cruiser with handcuffs behind him. His death was ruled a suicide. And the logical question is, can someone hold a gun properly while handcuffed, both hands behind you, and shoot yourself in the side of the head? So I bounded my hands together and I tried to go through the motions, and it is impossible to do. This situation right here kind of reminds me of that. She said that we've tried reaching out to them. We're begging them to look into the situation, but without any success. They're just brushing us aside, and we need justice for Rashid. She said, the 33-year-old Rashid Edwards, the last of her 5 siblings, grew up in Whitehall Gardens, St. Andrew. He migrated to the United States and attended Rider University, earning a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration. He worked as a project manager before being promoted to general manager at Ace Worldwide Moving and Storage in East New Jersey. So he was working at some storage place, but he was on the corporate side of things. Edward's mom said it was puzzling that, now this part gets me. The whole place is full with cameras, yet none of the cameras picked up anything of what happened to him. His mom said that it was puzzling that his partner, or Rashid's girlfriend, and her mom, that Rashid's partner's mom, with whom she was in regular contact with before his death. It's my son, he's dating your daughter. I'm in regular contact with you. We're fostering a relationship because it seems like we are going to be family, given that my son might marry your daughter or start having children with her, right? So they were fine before. Good relationship, everything good. And after her son was murdered, this woman stopped taking her calls and has not reached out to her since the incident and has not been accepting her calls. The family has been seeking the service of an attorney connected to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the I won't go there. So they've been seeking some attorneys from some colored people organization, association for the advancement of colored people in their quest for answers. I'm going to say they're probably going to need some NWCP backing. They're probably going to need, I don't know, but a lot is here to think about. Now, with all this is going on in the world today, we know that the curious manners in which Rashid lost his life can be viewed as just another statistic, but we want justice, and we will not stop asking how it is that no gunpowder residue was on either of his hands, yet they want to rule it as an official suicide. Something is not right, his mom said. Something is absolutely not right, is what SouFLoTV I'm saying. There's too many things here that points to foul play for me to actually say this looks like a suicide. Go and try it. I'm telling you. Put your gun finger on your left hand and try shooting yourself properly in the right side of the head and see. You must either be the most flexiblest person alive, or I don't know, it just would not be an accurate shot. You could probably mess around and shoot off your ear or shoot out one of your eyes without hitting a properly placed shot with distance between the body and the weapon. So much distance that after the shot went off, no powder burns were left on the surface where the shot entered. It makes no sense. And no gunshot residue on both hands. And the gun being found in his left hand when he is right-handed. And his girlfriend's mother breaking relationship with his mother right after the incident happened and has not accepted any calls from her since then. Too much here. I have a scenario. It could be, I don't know how long he was with this girlfriend, but I know when it gets to the point in a relationship that mother and mother on both sides have started to foster some communication, then it's pretty serious of a relationship. This is somebody you want your mom to know about, right? This is a family that you want your mom to know, so on and so forth. So it's funny that she would suddenly just break contact like this. It wasn't her daughter that was killed. It was her daughter's man. I believe that her daughter is involved in this somehow. This girl, whether she's white or whatever, they made it a point to put it out there that she was a white girl, and simply because they were living in an area where that type of relationship was frowned upon. Jersey Shore? I hope she wasn't Italian, because that would definitely explain a whole lot more. And I'll talk more about that on some other video. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Do you think it's a suicide genuinely? Or do you think this is obviously a murder cover-up? I'm out. Peace.